Want to know how to publish your book on Amazon but don't know where to start? Well, in this video, I'm going to walk you through the entire process step by step. Hey, future bestsellers, Lisa Daly here. If you want to learn how to write a book you are super proud of and get it published, this is the channel for you. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button and ding that little bell because I've got a whole bunch of new videos coming out to help you do just that, and I don't want you to miss a thing. Hey, everybody. So I just wanted to show you step by step how to upload a book to Amazon KDP. If you do not already have a KDP account, you're going to go to kdp.amazon.com and it will prompt you to set up a KDP account. KDP stands for Kindle Direct Publishing, and that is Amazon's publishing arm. One thing that's really important to remember is that Amazon previously only accepted Mobi files, which is their own sort of proprietary thing for the Kindle. But the rest of the ebook industry has always used EPUBs. Amazon also takes EPUBs, but for a long time they made you use a Mobi file, and they are going to be discontinuing that. And I think that's a great idea because it's not as stable as an EPUB, and also it's kind of a pain in the neck to have to download two different file types. So there you go. Okay. So there are a couple of things that I wanted to go through with you guys. The first thing is that we're going to hit this button right here that says create. And that is going to help us set up a new title. And then it asks you, do you want to create an ebook, a paperback, a hardcover, or a series page, which is great if you write in a series, which I do. So there you go. All right, but we're just going to start with the easy thing. And honestly, all the processes for ebook, paperback, and hardcover are pretty similar. And I will do another video in the future to show you how to upload and finesse a paperback and a hardcover. But for this video, we're going to focus on creating a Kindle ebook. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is push that button that says create ebook. All right, fantastic. And so my language is English. Obviously, you want to put whatever language the book is written in. And I'm just going to do this really fast. This book is called What Seven-Figure I can't spell today. Authors Do Differently. And I'm going to make sure that there are no typos in the title. I usually like a nice subtitle, but today we are not going to do that. And I'm also not going to worry about adding this to a series just yet. Actually, I will add it to a series just so you can see how we do it. If I add it to a series, it will ask me which series I want to add it to. And so then I'll select the series. You can either create a brand new series or you can select a series you've already got. And I am going to connect this to my best-selling romance writing guides. And this is main content. All right, so we're going to confirm. All set. All right. So now, as soon as I get this book pre-order up live, it's actually going to show up as part of a series that I've already created, which is pretty cool. And that way, when readers buy one book in the series, they'll be prompted, to say, hey, you might also want this book or this book. All right. So edition number is really not important for the first time you're uploading a book. It's actually only important if you are changing the book in any significant way. And that way just sort of helps everybody keep things straight. Primary author, that would be me, Lisa Daly. I just added an extra space there. I don't think it's going to have any problems. I do not have any other contributors. I did cut and paste the description so that I would not have to type it while you guys are doing this, because I'm the worst typist in the universe. I'm super slow and clunky. So you have the opportunity, just like any other formatting, to bold or italicize or underline. And I'm just going to bold this one line. This is probably not going to be the final copy. However, this is what I've got now. I'm actually doing this book as a pre-order, and we'll talk about that. A pre-order basically just means that you can put the book up for sale before you have finished writing it, in order for people to go ahead and buy it, or if you want to include the link in the back of another book, that kind of thing. That way you've got this thing up and live in the world. Okay. So for publishing rights, I'm going to select I own the copyright and I hold the necessary publishing rights. That just means I'm the author. I own the copyright. I have registered the copyright, and you should too for your books. It's pretty easy. You'll find instructions online. Alternatively, there are some people who are sort of reformatting works in the public domain. So maybe you want to take Pride and Prejudice, which has been out of copyright for a long time, which a lot of big publishers do actually, right? They take these beloved favorites and they recover them, or they add a new foreword or something. You can certainly do that. Although, why not? You want to write your own book, do that. Okay. Whether or not you have, so our next thing is our primary audiences. First, they want to know, do you have sexually explicit images or a sexually explicit title? The answer for me is no, but this can really get you if you have, if you're writing steamy romance and you got some man chest on the cover. So be sure to, or something a little smutty, a whip, whatever. So you want to make sure that you check that box just so that your stuff is not shown where it shouldn't be. Reading age, this is optional, and you really only need to do this if you're writing children's books. If you are in the US, you're going to choose Amazon.com as your primary marketplace. But if you live in another country, like the UK, so maybe you're living in England or Scotland, then you would choose Amazon.co.uk, or India, Japan, Canada, you name it. Okay, so our next thing that we're going to do is choose our categories. And before we do that, you get 3 categories to choose. And a lot of times people choose like a really generic category that has a lot of competition. And this is a terrible, terrible idea. So I'm going to let you in on a little secret. Let me just show you something else here. All right. So I use a tool called Publisher Rocket, which helps you find which categories and keywords have the most search traffic, how much competition there is in that traffic. It lets you do a little competition research. It's a fantastic tool. I was actually an early adopter of Publisher Rocket, and I will put a link down in the description below if you need that. In any case, I was a very early adopter of Publisher Rocket. I think I got it like 15 or 20 years ago when they called it KDP Rocket. I think probably about 15 years ago. And this is a Kindlepreneur product. So if you don't know Dave Chesson, you absolutely should. And the nicest thing that I can say about this is that it was pretty reasonable when I bought it. I think it's around $100. And I have used it religiously. It's one of my go-to tools, but he updates it constantly and you never have to buy a new edition. Like, it is always being updated and improved. And I think that is just like really awesome. All right. So to find my categories, I would go in here to category search, and you can look, if you want to sort of look at what the general categories are and kind of check out to see what's available in something like computers and technology, you could see like this. But for today, we are going to see what kind of categories we can find for a book about publishing for Kindle. So I love this. One of the things that it's going to do is show us how many sales you need to get to number 1 in that category, which, woohoo, only 13 if I were going to pick this one. Some of them have some really low categories, which is great. And then also sales to number 10. And that just ensures that you are going to be on the front page. The great thing about these categories is that they're kind of low-hanging fruit. Unfortunately, there are not as many people searching for them as some of the other categories. So typically, where there's more demand, there's more competition. But this is going to give us a great way to pick some categories for publishing. All right, so coming back over here to Amazon KDP, here's what we're going to do. I wrote my categories down ahead of time so you guys would not have to wait while I'm waiting. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is come down here, and I'm looking under reference books. Come on. Oop. Help if I do the little slider. All right, so reference, and then my subcategory is going to be writing, research, and publishing guides. And then my subcategory is publishing and books. And that's one of my categories. Let's see, publishing and books. And we're going to add another category. So then my next one is Kindle books, again with the reference. And again with writing, research, and publishing guide. This one's going to be under research. I'm going to save that category. Now you only get 3. Oops. I'll click the button here. And then we're going to add one more. Reference. Oops, I think I clicked out of that before I did it, but you get the general gist of it. So we have reference, research, writing, research, and publishing guides. And then my next one is publishing and books. That's the one that didn't get it. And we are going to pick authorship. We're going to save that category. And then we'll add one more. Once again, reference. I do usually try to have a little more variety as far as my categories, sort of choosing ones that have different roots. But for this particular book, it really does fit right in those publishing and authorship books. And so there's not another place that I would put it where I think it would be in the right place. That one is there. And then we're going to go with genre fiction. All right, I'm going to save those categories. Now I've got that. All right, so the next thing I'm going to do is add in my keywords. Don't do keywords that are just like Chicago or just kind of random stuff. You want to do things where you actually have some opportunity to be found. So you want to do things like your one thing that's really fantastic is that you can use Publisher Rocket to do a keyword search. But here's another thing. When you're doing category searches, if we're looking at publishing, and I'm just switching this back. So one of the things that's really cool is that you can, let's say you want to do this Kindle books reference, writing, research, publishing guides, publishing and books. You can click over here on keywords and get some of the keywords that are going to be most common for that book. So that's a good place to start if you're new at this. If you are a keyword genius with Google, that can also be a great place to look. But I love Publisher Rocket because it's specific to Amazon. Okay, so my keywords that I'm going to pick for this are traditional publishing, and we're going to get publishing guides and fiction. Oh. That's not a word, but it looked dirty. Let's see what we've got here. We're going to go under writing tips, character development. You can see I am a terrible typist. Plot structure. People who are looking for this are looking for my type of book. So let's do storytelling techniques. And that is where we are. So down here on pre-order, we have 2 choices. We can either pick I'm ready to release my book now, or you can say make my Kindle ebook available for pre-order. So pre-order means you're not going to have your book files up yet. You are going to need to put your cover up. So you can't have a pre-order without a cover. And if you are ready to put your book out right this very minute, you can just click that button. And usually it says it takes 3 days, but honestly, it's typically like 1 day. Not always, but typically. All right, so I'm going to check Kindle available for pre-order. Now you want to make sure that you are making your pre-order dates, because if you don't, Amazon KDP will take away your ability to do pre-orders for a year. Now, I will tell you a secret. If you write to them and beg their forgiveness, they will sometimes give you a reprieve, but not always. So you don't want to mess with that unless it's a true emergency. All right. So I'm going to say, I'm not sure what what day this is going to come out. I'm going to say the 11th of November. It's a good pub date. Now you might notice that I picked a pub date that is a Tuesday. Tuesday is the day of the week that traditional publishers will release books. Tuesday, new books come out on Tuesdays. And part of the reason is that sort of a little bit of the best day to come out in order to sort of have the greatest opportunity for all of the different bestseller lists. But if you're an indie publisher, which if you're uploading to KDP, you really can pick any day. And there are lots of authors who have found that if they're an indie author, maybe they want to publish the book on Monday, or maybe you want to publish on Valentine's Day or some other thing. All right, so then we're going to click Save and Continue. All right. So now this takes you to the next part, which is your Kindle ebook content. So one of the things that they ask you is whether or not you want to add digital rights management to your stuff. You can't change this after publication. I typically do not do this, but some people do. All right, so it's going to ask if you have a manuscript. Typically, you would say yes and upload your EPUB file. I am not doing this now because it's a pre-order and I don't have to turn in this stuff until about a week before my pub date. So now I'm going to upload my cover. And one thing that's important to know is that your cover file has to be a JPEG or a TIFF only. So you can't use some of the other file types like PDF. All right, so I'm gonna upload that. Let's do that right now. This is how I know with my terrible filing system. This one, there you go. All right, we're gonna wait for that to upload. Continue. And it says cover uploaded successfully. Yay. All right, next is AI generated content. Now, this is not something that Amazon is doing so that they can, I don't know, do something to torture you later or pull your book off. One thing that is super helpful to know is the reason that it asks you this question. Did you use AI tools in creating text, images, and or translations in your book? Is because this has to be noted in the EU. And so it's really just because of laws over there. And so it's really important that you answer this correctly. But in the US, it does not really have any sort of impact. All right, so typically, if you had just uploaded your book file, you would be able to launch an online preview and see what the book looks like and make sure that everything is right and that the file is working properly. Obviously, because this is a pre-order, I have not uploaded my book file. I will wait until a little closer to the pub date to do that. And so we're not going to be able to do a check there. I decided to do a little pickup because I thought it would maybe be easier for you guys to actually see what the previewer looks like. So I'm actually in a different book now, and then we'll go back to the other setup, but I just wanted to show you guys what it would look like. So once you've uploaded your cover file, which is here, your full cover file, like for the paperback or the ebook, and your manuscript, then you can actually see what it's going to look like in the previewer. All right, look at that. So you can see, so these little red lines show you don't go past that. And then this is obviously the cover. And then if I click this, it'll show what it looks like inside the interior of the book. And you're just looking here to make sure you don't have any quality issues, which are going to be mentioned over here, and that everything looks the way that you intended for it to look. So there you go. And I formatted this book on Atticus, which is what I mentioned to you guys before. And then you're just going to hit approve and on to the next step. Next, we have Kindle ebook ISBN. So ebooks are not required to have an ISBN. A lot of authors want the same ISBN. They want to have their ebooks wide. And so they'd like to use the same ISBN if they can for all those different books on different platforms. Unfortunately, Amazon sort of locks up your ISBN. What happens is even though you should be able to use the same ISBN for your one title across every platform, you are not able to do that because Amazon will say, okay, we've got it. This one's being used. And then later when you try to upload to like Ingram Spark or something, they say, sorry, that ISBN is already in use, even though it's the exact same format of the exact same book. So in a future video, I will show you how to get around that. But for now, we're just going to let Amazon, and you can always do this. Some people do not care. With ebooks, it's common to use the provided ISBN number, or in Amazon's case, they give you an ASIN number, which you definitely want to put your publisher name down here. Siesta Key House. All right. And then I'm going to save and continue. So this is your publisher name is going to appear in your listing. So if you don't want your book to look self-published, then don't use your name. Use something else. All right, here we go. We're on our last page now, which is Kindle ebook pricing. You can enroll your book in KDP Select. That gives you the opportunity to participate in a bunch of different promotional things. And we'll talk about that in a future video. But if you choose enroll my book in KDP Select, that means that you cannot put it on any other retailers for 90 days. It has to be exclusive, at least in ebook, to Amazon. And so that is something, sometimes folks will release on Amazon exclusively for 90 days because Amazon does give you a little bit of a algorithm boost if you are in KDP, and then they'll release the ebook wide after that. And some authors will release their books to all the different platforms all at the same time. And it's really up to you how you want to work that and what's most important to you. All right, so next you're going to pick your territories. Because I'm publishing this book and I have rights to everything, I'm going to select all territories. Amazon.com is my primary marketplace, which we picked, I think, on page 1. And then I'm going to choose the 70% royalty plan. And you can choose the 70% royalty plan if your list price for your book is between $2.99 and $9.99. And a 70% royalty on a $4.99 book is what? $2.99, which is hardcover money if you are traditionally published. So that is really fantastic. Okay, so the last thing we need to do, Amazon goes ahead and sort of gives you an estimate of what the prices would be based on your US list price or whatever your country's list price is. And I like to do something that we call pretty pricing, which I believe I learned from Vanessa Vale, who is a marketing and branding genius. But basically, you don't want your foreign editions to have these kind of random prices, right? We're used to $4.99 or $5.99, not $4.32 or $4.34. So we're going to just move these up or down just a little bit to make it a little closer. So we've got the GBP, the Great British Pound, at $3.99. I'm actually going to raise that up to $4.99 so that it matches with the euro. And we're going to do all the euros at $4.99, not $4.80. Doesn't that look nicer? You don't have to do it like this. This is just me. And then I would do $7.49 on this one and probably $6.99. This is completely random. I usually just round a little up or down to get to either a 49 or a 99. All right, that's it. And ta-da! We are now at the last page. We picked our prices and we are going to hit this magical button to submit our pre-orders. Ta-da! All right, fantastic. Yay! All right, so next you'll get the Start Your Paperback Now. Now, you cannot do a pre-order for paperbacks directly on Amazon, but if you do want to do a pre-order for a paperback, you can actually upload that to Ingram Spark, and we will talk about how to do that a little later. So I did want to mention there are a couple of tools that I use. One, you can use a great program called Atticus to format your books. This is something where it's not a subscription program. You pay once for it, and it's another Kindlepreneur product, but I absolutely love it. And basically you just upload your manuscript from your Word document, and it's got all of these templates in there to make creating your book really fast. And I tell you, I just love it to death. It is super easy to use. Just so you know, there are plenty of ways to format your books without doing anything fancy. I personally like Atticus because it's easy, but there are a million different ways to do that. And we will also talk about that in a future video. And I will put links to everything that I talked about in the description below, just so you guys aren't trying to make yourselves crazy, trying to figure out, what did she say? What did she say about that? Okay. And that's it. Easy peasy. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. If you want to learn how to write a book you are super proud of and get it published, this is the channel for you. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button and ding that little bell. And you'll definitely want to check out this next video. I'll see you over there. Bye.